Cool. You guys find some value from listening to Blake talk? Any ahas about that? Anybody want to chime in?
Yeah,
I think it's brilliant that he reached out to the investors, like the Google searches. I thought that was brilliant. I didn't think to do that before. So,
Thanks,
cool little nugget there for everybody.
I thought the same thing. I'm like, I've been doing this for 15 years. How did this guy think about this? And I didn't think about this shit, right? Like, Mark Gilmartin on our team, like, he drove past a house that a builder was like building. Like, this is me with a hammer, by the way. Like, a builder was building and he pulled over and like was like, hey, are you guys selling this house? He put that deal together because he had a buyer in that neighborhood. Now, what Blake did, Blake's doing it at a much higher level. He's like getting into relationships with builders and talking to them. And he has access to 20 flips or whatever that's coming up, right? If you don't, we talk about this over and over again. You guys are this is a really unique time in the real estate industry because you guys can go out there and eat everybody's lunch, man. The days of the MLS agent are over, right? If you think you're going to put a search in the MLS and sit there and wait, sit there and hang out, like, all right, where's my commission? It's not working, right? And people like Luke Ninamaya are just going to destroy you, right? Like, that's what's going to happen because that Luke on our team, who's not here because he's probably putting another deal in escrow, is like, he's like, I'm like, what do you do? I'm like, what are you doing that is working? And he's like, I don't know, Joe. This is how he talks too. He's like, I don't know. There's a neighborhood they want to be in. And I just called all the houses that were under contract to see if any of them were falling out of escrow or if they were shaky, that maybe I could be a backup. And then I was like, oh my God, he's so smart. I'm like, this is the smartest person I've ever met. The dude just came from construction. But that's the mindset that we need, right? You have to create the inventory. And I believe that motion, like, if you seek, you shall find. Like, if you're just doing the stuff, the thing, it'll just happen, right? Like, if we're in motion, it's gonna happen, right? Motion creates emotion. So I'm gonna stop there. Any other ahas or any other questions before I jump into Opcity, like technical stuff? No, cool. All right, awesome. So guys, I'm going to, let me go to our university. And one other thing real quick, like for those of you that were on the Zillow Flex onboarding, is it any different? Is Opcity any different? Were those guys saying anything different? No, they weren't. It's the same process, right? ALM, right? We want to set that appointment and that's the opportunity, right? So let me share my screen here. Anyone want to see Dante on here? Anyone here if you need access to Opcity, ping us. We can get you set up, especially if you're in our group over at EXP or whatever. We can get you an account. We can get you hooked up with all this stuff. Can you guys see where it says Opcity? Yeah, cool, awesome. I've got multiple screens open and sometimes I'll start talking. So Opcity. So guys, just quick, what is Opcity? Opcity is a lead gen source that was purchased by Realtor.com. Opcity has lots and lots and lots of lead gen sources, landing pages, things like that. And they're basically doing the same thing that Zillow Flex is doing. They have employees. So a fun fact is, this number changes depending on who you talk to, but the internet lead, the person that starts searching on the internet, they transact somewhere between 300 and 600 days after they start searching. So that person they're not motivated and ready to buy a house for a long time. Does that make sense? You guys agree with that? Like 300 days is a long time. So what happens is these channel partners, and Opcity is one of them, what they do is they monitor the activity of the consumer online, right? And then they get pinged to contact them. When the consumer takes when the consumer does certain activities, that rates them higher level chance of transacting. So for instance, if they're looking at a house and they save it as a favorite, then they go up on the list as more likely to transact sooner, right? If they save multiple houses, right? If they're on the website a certain amount of days in a row, if they switch from looking at a house on their handheld device to a desktop, then it goes like through the roof. Does that all make sense, right? So what happens is these companies are monitoring this on the back end. They have a call center. They have employees that are calling and verifying the consumer. They're asking these are very, very well-intentioned leads, right? So they're making sure they have a conversation with the consumer, and they're asking them, one, are you looking to purchase a house? And two, are you interested in talking to a local agent? Then when this happens is this channel partner picks up the phone and just picks up the phone and pings local agents, right? And then you have an opportunity. For Zillow Flex, they call your phone directly. Like, you're the only person they're calling. And you're the only person that they're calling. And sorry, I looked at my phone totally. You're the only person they're calling. On Opcity, what's going to happen is Opcity is an app, right? It looks like this. It's an app on your phone, and everything's kind of controlled in the app. In Opcity, what happens is when you have the app on and you're not snoozing and you're able to receive leads, you'll get pinged with a lead, and it's your choice to accept the lead, decline it, or do nothing. Doing nothing is the worst thing that you can do. So this is our university at the Joe Oz Group. What is Opcity? This kind of talks about what Opcity is. So in our university, this is going to tell you how to set up Opcity. Now, the one thing to know about Opcity is it's completely run by algorithms. So basically what happens is we have to like break it in order to get leads. This is just the way it is. If you're working at, I don't know, who am I going to pick on today? If you're working on Remax and the Remax broker has an Opcity account and they don't have a coach coaching you through how to go in there and how to set up your account, how to make you an experienced agent, what ratings matter, how to release people, how to put notes in there. There's certain things that'll bring your score up, right? And that's what we're here to talk about. The higher score you have, the better leads you're going to get. In our university, these are all the links to onboarding, right? Like you can do a live onboarding with Rise, with Casey, who you just saw. If you don't want to do that, you can download the app and you can set it up yourself. I believe Lauren would help you. These are the steps. So you might have heard one of those guys, I think it was Johnny or somebody was talking. If you were to open up Opcity, you would just be a non-experienced agent or something. If you fill out this questionnaire the right way, you'll be viewed as experienced, and you'll start getting. You fill out this questionnaire. They ask you who you are. They ask you where you're located. You put like the area where you want to be within a certain amount of miles. You finish your questionnaire. You sign a referral agreement. We do pay a referral to the channel partner. Excuse me. And then once you are an experienced agent and you've set yourself up correctly, what will happen is you will start getting leads. Like I forget who it was, whether it was Blake or Johnny. They start testing you out immediately. And if you haven't been on Opcity yet, I'll tell you this right now, it's very easy to get a low score very quickly. If you turn it on in the first 48 hours, if you're not vigilant, you can go to it starts you at, I believe it starts at 120. That's the highest you can go. And then so on the app, there's a snooze button. You should always be snoozed unless you're like looking at your phone, prospecting, like able to answer your phone. What I thought initially was, so I'm going to unsnooze it, right? So now I'm able to take calls. I'm able to take connections. I have to claim the connection. My phone will not ring. Something will pop up on my phone, and then I will say, yes, I'm willing to accept it, or no, I'm not. And then when I say yes, I click it and it answers, right? What I was doing was keeping it on all the time. And then if I wasn't available, I was going to snooze it. The hack is it should be the other way around, right? I snooze it for 1 month at a time. I don't use this, right? I'm not in production. I have this for training purposes. But what will happen is that should be your prospecting. If there's a time of the day when you're prospecting or working or sitting at your desk, if it's a 2-hour period, you should turn on Opcity and you should have it ready to go. Something that's, I think, pretty obvious, but I have to make it really clear because some people haven't picked up on this. What time of day and week are buyers calling in predominantly? Does anybody know?
Dinner time.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Evenings and weekends. So when you guys are like at the discotheque, right? When you're at your kid's soccer game, it's inconvenient, right? So like if you're available, go for it, right? Like if there's an hour, put it on. Like if there's going to be those 2 hours where you sit on the couch and you're just going to like veg or whatever and like read a book or something, like turn it on because it'll ring, right? If the worst thing you can do is have a connection come through and not attempt to claim it, right? If you don't attempt to claim it, it's going to be red there, right? And it says expired. That's the worst thing that you can do. If you try to claim it and don't get it, that's good. Like it looks like you like tried to do it. And if they want the click rates to be under a minute, right? Like they want it to be under a minute. If it's over 5 minutes, that's like a red flag that they're going to think that you stink, right? The algorithm will be like, this person definitely stinks. They're asleep. They don't know what to do. This is all important because this is all going back to customer service, right? That's what this is happening. So again, Chris, and I see you, what Chris talked about, Giannis talked about was we're living in the age of Uber, whatever, Uber Eats, Grubhub, whatever, Amazon. That instantaneous 5-star service is bleeding over into other industries and it's coming over to ours. I was just traveling last week. When I came home, I clicked an Uber. It said 15 minutes for your ride. I almost lost my mind. I'm like, 15 minutes? In all reality, like I'm here and there's going to be a car pulling up to this curb where I'm standing in 15 minutes and I'm going to be able to be home in a half hour. Like that's really amazing. Gil.
I was going to say the best analogy I use to think about that is you should really treat it like whack-a-mole. And if you can zoom out your perspective to think about like, cool, you have kids, you have soccer games, you have whatever else you're doing that Joe referenced or anything else that's going on. That's cool. Just be on snooze. Only turn it on when you are like that. That should be the one thing that you're doing right then. Sure, you could watch Netflix or do whatever, but just imagine, because if it's not now, it's happening at an exponential rate. The other people that are trying to claim that lead are like actively working on their TikTok and have lived their whole lives with their thumbs on their phones like this. And they're instantaneously going to hit that. It's going to be fractions of a second, not 5 minutes. Like it sounds reasonable to be like, oh, I'll get that in 5 minutes. But if you look at the in those notes in the university, it says if the time to response is more than 5 minutes, conversion drops by 500%. Sorry, it was 400%.
Yeah.
That's 5 minutes. So the consumer's expecting the algorithm's going to weight it, and it's just going to get shorter and shorter and shorter. And your competition in the marketplace from other agents that understand that and really listen when somebody explains this, or they just logically get it, they're natively going to hit it instantaneously. So just remember that and treat it like whack-a-mole, where you're staring at your phone, like waiting for it. And especially I haven't done it myself, but I feel like it, from what Joe's described and what the Casey has said, and when you're first starting out, they want to test you. So just expect them to test you and like block an hour or however long your attention span can wait, where you're like waiting on your phone to get it. And then you can only sustain that amount of attention for a short amount of time. So just make it a short amount of time. That's totally fine. But just have the intensity level of being ready for it right when you go. Think of it like whack-a-mole against a millennial with their or Gen Z or whatever the next. I can't keep them all straight, but the fastest fingers.
Yeah, he's talking about you young people with the internets. It's hard for us to understand. But thanks, Gil.
Yo, computers, I get it.
So what I want to really challenge you guys to do here is you hear me talk a lot about real estate 1.0 and the legacy realtor, right? I was the legacy realtor. The reason why I can sit here and talk about this is because I understand what we used to do and I understand what has to happen right now. The way the legacy realtor, the realtor 1.0, which most of you are newer agents or you look young, and God bless, I hope you're not me, right? But like the legacy agent is coming in here being like, dude, I'm not on call. I'm not going to like jump when you want me to jump. That's what the legacy agent's thinking, right? Like they're thinking they're inconvenienced. They're just thinking about it all wrong. And really what it looks like is you can you can actually control your lead flow, man. Like you can go and sit down for 2 hours a day, turn this thing on and receive leads. If you start in the beginning and you do well and keep a high score and you follow the system I'm about to break down for you, there's an unbelievable lead generation source, right? Like it'll just keep happening and you will have business. When I was a realtor, I remember one time I was like established. I was like 3 years in. I went 4 months without a deal. It was horrible. I felt like I could not control my business at all. I was 3 years in. I was doing a great business. Things were cool. I was making more money than I ever made. Things were going awesome. But like, I was just sitting around waiting for shit to happen, right? That's the disease most people have. They're like waiting for like someone to save them or whatever. Like you can control your destiny. It's like the dude that runs Uber. He's like, you know what? I want to make some money. I'm going to turn on Uber. I'm going to go sit outside the airport. I'm going to go sit outside the downtown area where the bars are. I'm going to make money for 2 hours and I'm done. Like that's how it should be looked at. Right. And so with that being said, this is our dashboard, right? So what I'll do here is I'm going to guess who my favorite person is. Melissa Kokonesh is my favorite person here, right? So like what happens here is you have these scores, right? The higher your score, the more leads you're going to get and the better leads you're going to get. This is a really simple process. The number is 116. You want to be above 116, okay? Under 110, you're going to notice a huge slowdown in leads. Under 100, you're not getting leads. Like they think that you stink, right? Melissa, now this is what's going to happen, right? This is the secret to Opcity, right? And also this is why you're my favorite person, if I haven't already told you. What Opcity is going to do is they're going to like trick you. They're going to send you some really shitty leads. Like when I say shitty, I mean like really shitty leads. Melissa, you just your first deal. What did you close?
It was a bright pink mobile home.
Okay. What was your commission? Like $4? Were you able to
Maybe
like,
less.
were you able to like at least buy like a pack of gum or whatever?
Maybe some
So
pizza.
Melissa Kokonesh was like, fuck it. I'm gonna like get my reps in, right? She's like, I'm gonna get my reps in. And she did. And so now look at what her score is, right? She has one close. She's going to have another close registered in here today. She's going to be at like a 118. She was at a 118 Melissa, I was looking at you last night. You were at like a 118 last night. I'm going to show you how to fix that. So, but she's going to have another one's going to go to 118. The magic. Now, this new one she just closed, I think was like a $300,000 or $400,000 house, right? It's like almost like a normal commission. Like you'll actually make some money and that's cool. But the hack is this. And the reason why I know this is because I don't just sit in Asbury Park and talk to the realtors in Asbury Park. I talk to the realtors around the country, the best of the best. Agents are coming in all over the country. They're turning on the rentals and the mobile homes and the garbage, and they're banging out they're closing 3 things, right? Because then what Opcity wants to know, the agents are coming in and they're doing this. The legacy agents, they're like, Opcity leads suck, right? I don't know if you guys ever saw Glenn Ross. There's a line in there, the leads don't suck, you suck, right? And it's totally true, right? So what happens is they're like, if you go in, dude, if you close a $50,000 mobile home and then you close a $400,000 home and then you like, Melissa's going to be their favorite person and she's going to start getting like the sickest leads, right? Like she's going to get more of them and she's going to get better ones, right? Because they know who's who, right? And I'm not going to pick on anyone, but like, you know, the people with the people that have the lower, like this person is at like a 101 and they have nothing likely to close, no transactions, like they really just like turned the app on and didn't really ever do anything, right? And then like really Melissa's like, well, Luke too, like Luke got sidetracked with Flex. He's on snooze. He closed one. He had a really high score. Then he just like took off with Flex. But this is what it looks like. Now I'm going to open up Melissa's account, right? So now what happens is once you start moving and grooving, your whole goal is to keep this thing above 116, right? Now there's some tricks in here. We're getting close to time here, but like what you want to do is Melissa, I'm going to concentrate on you. These spokes, when you have a spokesperson, you want to say you met them at 48 hours, you want to say you met them, even if you didn't. Okay. Then the algorithm is going to be like, oh, wow, you're meeting with everyone, right? Holy shit. Yeah. If you go in and put all these spokes, or you can tell nor to do it or whatever. If all these spokes are 48 hours old or more, and you put all of them to Met, you'll go to like 118 by the end of the day, or maybe like 119, right? That's what'll happen. By the way, these holdings too, like you guys can, you've never released anyone. You can release, we want to release people that aren't going to transact in 6 months or more. Does that make sense? So what's happening now is the algorithm is like, all right, you've got all these people, you're holding these people, and you've got one in escrow. It doesn't look good, right? It kind of looks, and the way Opcity works is if someone's not going to transact or they're going unresponsive, we want to release them. The way Opcity works is you've already tagged them while they're out in the wild. If they come back, Opcity will bring them back to you. Did you guys follow that? So you're not even like, it's not like they want it to come back to you, because especially if you've got the 116 or above, does that make sense? Like they're going to be like, oh shit. And so we'll dive more into that next week or whatever on the one-on-ones. We've got like 5 minutes left. I want to respect your guys' time. Any questions? Any ahas? Good job, Melissa. That's so awesome. Your shit is going to blow up. You're going to close that one today. And if you kept this as a lead source and took care of it and watched after it, you would this is going to be a massive lead source for you. Johnny the Shark in Vegas, 40% of his business comes from Opcity for his whole team. Any questions? Any ahas? Did you guys find this valuable? Cool.
I just want to add for the Rise Mastermind that's on Wednesdays. It's on the Team Joaz calendar. It's at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think it's like the second Wednesday of every month, and the Zoom link is right in there.
Yo,
cool.
Joe, thanks for watching those videos and highlighting them. It's a huge deal. Also, I kind of knew that we were aligned to them, but I didn't know that was a consistent thing that all the agents on the team can just plug into. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really awesome. And what it is, like that guy Blake, if you wanted to talk to him for an hour, you'd have to pay him $1,200. Like he's no joke, right? So that's the value that we're bringing. But I'm going to continue to bring, like, you guys don't have to watch it. Like watching the whole thing's tough but I'm going to pull the gems out of those things because I need to hear it. And then like Dante's, the Katie's, if anyone's interested in doing this or needs an Opcity account, we can definitely help you. Melissa.
Yeah, I just had like a little Opcity tip. So when I was first signed in, what I decided to do, because it's like a millisecond that you have to react and claim a lead. So what I do when my daughter is not home is I take my passcode off my phone. So I can literally as soon as I get pinged, I'm not like scrambling or my phone is like always open.
So smart.
When I'm available.
Yeah. I remember I did the same thing because I always had a passcode on it. You cannot click it in time with the passcode.
Right. Yeah.
Thanks, Melissa. That was really valuable. Cool. Any other questions? Gabby.
Because I was in the university yesterday taking a look at the Opcity. So this question is for Lauren. So do I have to look at, because I saw at the bottom, as far as the training, is that required do I have to get on one of those Zooms before pinging you?
So you can ping me, let me know, because then I have to add you to the team. And then the next step or at the same time is to hop into the Opcity training.
Okay.
And by the way, Opcity is a little bit more lenient where how with Zillow Flex, they monitor us, they will kick us off. They'll be like, peace. Like Opcity, it's every individual agent is kind of on their own. Does that make sense? And they have their own score. So if your Opcity account goes in the garbage can, I don't really care. I mean, I care, but it's not going to be you're not hurting the rest of the team. Right. Whereas if you guys have seen it Flex, if someone has too many connections and we need to close some things, we're going to pause you and Bob, that's a little bit more we have to be very wary of how we interact with it. But Opcity, you guys can run with it. And just like anything else, if you guys just learn how to hack it, it'll be an amazing lead gen source for you guys. And it's, something you can't get in a lot of places. So cool. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining. We'll see you guys next week. Hit me up with any questions.